وبحفظ وجوده الشريف أفلح من رفع صوته بذكر الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. يقول الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. In this verse of the Quran, the holy book, Allah says, the dwellers of the desert say, we believe. Say you do not believe, but say we submit, and faith has not yet entered into your hearts. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآله الطاهرين. Life is not about seeking money or gathering money. It's not about building houses and palaces. It's not about making a family and having kids. All our narrations, or most of our narrations, when they describe the life, they say that it's only a portal. It's only a hallway towards the hereafter. When we understand the reality of this life, we look at it in that simple way, we know that any success in this life doesn't really mean anything. And the real success is in the day of judgment, is when we enter heaven and we avoid the punishment and the fire of hell. When we think of this point, we know that we have to know the way in order to success in the hereafter. Here comes the narration of Imam Ali alayhi salam when he talks to his companion Kumayl ibn Ziyad. Imam Ali alayhi salam was walking with his companion Kumayl ibn Ziyad. Everyone knows Kumayl ibn Ziyad. He's the one that narrates the hadith, the dua that we recite on Thursday nights, which are the words of Imam Ali, but he taught it to Kumayl ibn Ziyad. He entered with Kumayl ibn Ziyad to the desert, and he took a deep breath. He looked at Kumayl ibn Ziyad. He said, "O Kumayl, inna al-quluba aw'iya," that the hearts are containers, and the best of hearts are the containers, are the hearts that contain the most, are the hearts that contain the most, or like contains more than the other. Alaykum as-salam. What type of containers Imam Ali is talking about in this narration? It's not like, these hearts are not like other containers that we put in it physical things like water or like oil or anything. Because these containers that contain physical stuff are containers that they are limited. They have a certain limit. For example, 1 liter of water or like 2 liters. But when Imam Ali describes the hearts as containers, and he says, فَخَيْرُهَا أَوْعَاهَا, that the best of hearts are the hearts that contains the most. He's talking about these hearts that contain the knowledge. And these containers are limitless. They can contain infinity of knowledge because knowledge has no limits. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He speaks to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, when He speaks to the Prophet about morals, about akhlaq, He tells him, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, that you have the perfect morals. You reached the limit. There is no more perfect than that. But when He talks to the Prophet about knowledge, He tells him, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, and say, oh Allah, add to my knowledge. Even for Ahlul Bayt, knowledge doesn't reach a limit. it's narrated of one of the Imams. He says, إنه ليصاب علينا في كل ليلة جمعة. That knowledge, we receive knowledge every Thursday night. Knowledge are added to our knowledge. Knowledge that is added to our knowledge, we receive it every Thursday night. Then he continues, Imam Ali alayhi salam, talking to Kumail. He says, فَاحْفَظْ عَنِّي مَا أَقُولُ لَكَ. Memorize what I am going to tell you. And he says, memorize what I'm going to tell you. النَّاسُ ثَلَاثَ. The people are three types. Usually, when we want to, for example, sort the people into groups, we use a certain rule in our mind. Sometimes we divide them according to rich and poor, or like from which country they came from, according to their religion, according to their color, for example. But all these rules are not considered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or His Imams. The rule that Imam is using, that Imam Ali is using to divide the people or to sort them into groups, is the rule of knowledge. He says, الناس ثلاثة, that people are three types. فعالم رباني, a knowledgeable scholar, and a learner who's trying to survive in the hereafter, وهمج رعاع, and savages. If you look at this narration, the first two types, because of the relation to knowledge, Imam Ali describes them in a good way. But the third type, because they are way far from knowledge, Imam says that they are savages. What kind of knowledge Imam Ali is talking about? Imam Ali is talking about the knowledge that saves a person from the major perish, from the fire of hell. As I said in the beginning of my lecture, that the main success is not the success in this life, because this life is temporary, it's not permanent. And the permanent life is the hereafter. And the major success is winning heaven, is going to heaven. And the major perish is going to the fire of hell. Let's just now put this introduction aside, just keep it in mind. I used it in order to give it as an introduction to the answer of the question that's going to come up because of the verse that I started with. About this guy who said, like the people who said that we are believers. Allah in the verse says that don't say that you are believers, you just submit. But faith or belief did not yet enter your heart. This verse is dividing the people into two groups. The people who are only submitted to Islam by tongue, and the other group are the people who are true believers. This is the question. What is the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min? What is the difference between a Muslim and a faithful person, a true believer? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If a person wants to become a Muslim, he has to do two things. The first thing is to deny the existence of a partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second thing is to believe in the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. If this person, and of course, denying the partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala represented in the first shahada, which is ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And the second thing that this person has to do in order to be a Muslim is represented in the second shahada, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa salli ala Muhammad. But saying these words, they only make of this person a Muslim by name. And only the rulings of Islam should be applied on him, like marriage rulings, and that he's tahir, clean in the Islamic expression, or pure. But it's like a shell only. It's like only by tongue. It doesn't make him a true believer. But in order for this person to achieve the success, to achieve heaven, and to avoid the fire of hell, he has to truly believe in his heart about these two shahadat. This verse is dividing the people into two groups. As I said, the first group, those who only by tongue, they are Muslims. For example, those who only were born in a community that, or in a family that, who are like Muslims, for example, or like they want to benefit something from being Muslims, like at the time of the Prophet, some of the Jewish scholars, they used to pretend that they are Muslims in order to gain something that's related to this life, like the money that was paid or like other things. And the other group are the true believers. When I say belief or believing in this, it means when someone believes in something depending on an evidence and a proof. I'm not talking about like you don't have to go deep in studying and try to bring hard evidences and study philosophy or something in order to understand and truly believe in this. It needs only a simple evidence. Like this person who used to live in the desert, they asked him, how did you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said the famous saying, he said, Al-ba'ra tadullu ala al-ba'ir, that the feces of the camel, when you see on the ground, you know that the camel just passed through here. And the footsteps indicates that a person just passed through here. And أَفَسَمَاءٌ ذَاتُ أَبْرَاجٍ, if you look at this sky that's too high without pillars, and this earth that has springs flowing from underground, if you see all this, doesn't this indicate that there is a mighty creator of these creations? Doesn't indicate, and this guy didn't learn. He just used his mind and used his logic. A very simple evidence made him a true believer. So believing is caused by proof and evidence. In order to be a mu'min in these two shahadat, there are several introductions that should be provided for each one of these shahadat. For the first shahada, first we have to prove the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And second, we have to prove that He has no partner. The second shahada, in order to prove and in order to truly believe in the second shahada, we have to prove the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First, let me tell you what does this make a difference. For example, when a kid, if you give him a medicine, if it's bitter or it's not nice, he would refuse and he would cry not to take it. He doesn't know the fact that this medicine will cure him. But you have to force him in order to take this medicine. But when you grow up and you know that in order to be cured, you have to take this medicine, you take it and you need it. You try your best to find it if it's rare, for example. So if you know the reasons and if you know the why, the answer to the why am I worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why do I have to believe in a prophet? When I know the why, my deeds, my prayers, I become more like loyal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know why I am praying. For example, when I say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, which is the first pillar of the religion, at-tawheed, we know that we have to worship Allah, but we don't know the why. A lot of people, they don't know the why. But when we grow up, you see the person by himself, he starts to ask, am I on the right religion? Then, a simple evidence that a lot of scholars, they talk about in their books and they wrote about it. If a person, a normal person passing through in the street and he saw you, for example, you need help. Let's say that you are thirsty. And a normal person came and gave you a cup of water. You take this water and you drink it, and the first thing that you say is what? You say thank you. You show gratitude. You're going to be grateful for this person. But sometimes it's not any person. Maybe it's your father who comes and serves you and gives you a cup of water. In this case, you will be more grateful to your father because you are supposed to serve your father, but now he went and brought you a cup of water. In this case, you just stand up and go to kiss his hand. Why did you do that? I should serve you. So gratitude or being grateful and the level of gratitude differs according to the level or the status of the giver and the value of the given thing. And when we look around us into this world, we see the whole universe, which is created in order to serve us. We look at the mountains, we take rocks in order to build our houses. We look at the trees, we use it in order to eat fruits from it, to use the wood in order to build our houses. Everything in this world is created to serve the human being. And we look at the giver who gave us this. We look at the giver, we see that this Allah is the mighty, the most powerful. He doesn't need us and we need him, but yet he looks at us and like amongst billions of people, and he doesn't forget us. We look at this God, the giver and the given thing, and when we know the might of the creator, of the giver, and the value of the given things, we have to seek a way to be thankful. To be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And usually when you love someone, you don't go give them a gift that you like. You give them a gift that they like if you want to express your love, if you want to express your gratitude. You are going to give them things that they would need, they would appreciate. So we have to seek a way in order to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to thank Allah in the way that He wants. Here comes the need of religion, of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then comes another question: how do we achieve worship? How do we know the way to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to thank Him in the right way? Here comes the importance of believing in the second shahada, which is, as I said, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. To truly believe in the prophethood, we have to prove that Allah is wise. Allah is just. He didn't create this world to play. Doesn't oppress. And He ordered logically the people to worship Him. As I said in the previous evidence, being grateful. He ordered the people to worship Him. It's unjust from Him to let the people in this world without any guidance to tell us how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can go and meet Him and we have no excuse. So He has to send a prophet. Because it's unjust. Like in the day of judgment, if we don't have a prophet or a guide in this life, and Allah will tell us, like, go to the fire of hell. Let the angels take, like He will order the angels to take Him to the fire of hell. So I can say that, oh Allah, You created me and You ordered me to worship You, but You didn't tell me how. So Allah sent the prophets in order to guide us. In order to guide us. Now that my introduction about seeking knowledge and the importance of seeking knowledge, here it's the role of this introduction of seeking knowledge that Imam Ali told us about. In order for us to be true believers, which is logically is the thing that we have to do. That we have to do, because our mind tells us that this life is temporary and we're not going to live forever. And every success in this life is not a true success. It's not like a permanent success. We have to, when we know that there is a hereafter, when we know that there is a fire of hell and there is heaven, we have to choose heaven over hell, because that's the permanent life. When we want to do that, we have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to seek knowledge from His messengers in order to go to success, to go to heaven. There's a narration that talks about the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min, or the Islam and the Iman. Al-Fudayl ibn Yasar, he's one of the companions of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Even Fudayl ibn Yasar, just min bab al-baraka, we just mentioned this fadila of him, this how Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam describe him. They said in Fudayl ibn Yasar the same that what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa said about Salman al-Farisi. Imam Sadiq said, Fudayl minna ahl al-bayt. Even Fudayl ibn Yasar, when Imam Sadiq wanted to wash his body after he died, he even helped the Imam while he was washing him. Even Salman al-Farisi, when Imam Ali alayhi salam went to wash his body. Imam Ali went inside and he said salam, assalamu alaikum. He sat and he replied to the salam of Imam Ali alayhi salam. That's how his status was. Al-Fudayl ibn Yasar, he said, I heard Abu Abdullah al-Sadiq يقول that faith shares with Islam, but Islam doesn't share the faith. Like you can call a mu'min, you can call him a Muslim, but you can't call a Muslim a mu'min. إن الإيمان ما وقر في القلوب, that the faith is what stays in the heart, what's believed in the heart. But Islam is what's about marriage and inheritance and حقن الدماء, about only these rulings that I said are applied on this person. So to say that a person is faithful and he will achieve the rewards in the day of judgment, he has to believe with no doubt in his heart about these two shahadat, by evidence, of course. And as I said, you don't have to go deep, just the simplest evidence that would would leave you with no doubt in your mind. The main point that I want to talk about, depending on what I started with, on the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min. Now that we know the evidences, now that we seek knowledge, and we learned about the evidences about our faith, about the first pillar of the religion and the second pillar of religion, here comes to now we have a role towards each shahada, towards each pillar of religion. When we learn about the evidence about the first shahada, we have to know that we have a role towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is worshipping Allah, which is what I spoke about, to be grateful. And we have to know that we have a role towards the Prophet. Now, here's the main point, because we celebrated last month the birth of the Prophet, and when we learned about, when we heard some of the lectures of some of the speakers in this place and in other places about his characteristics and how he came to this world as a mercy to the people, we learned about his value. Our role towards him is to value, is to appreciate what he gave, is to appreciate the sacrifice that he sacrificed for us. When we think about the Prophet, when he, for example, he sees around him the people that he knew that their offspring, them and their offspring are going to be the killers of his offspring, but yet he stayed patient, and he kept trying to guide them in order to save them from the fire of hell. He didn't give up. And the story that happened when he went to the mountain of Safa and Marwa, and he told the people that I'm the Prophet of Allah, and then they started to throw rocks on him. And the angels, the angel of sun, the angel of wind, the angel of sea, the angel of soil, when they came to him, and they told him, like, now, you just give us a sign, and we will punish these people who hurt you. But he refused. We have to appreciate the sacrifice by following his steps. When we know that Allah is just, and it's unjust from him not to send a prophet for us, we should know that after the martyrdom of the Prophet, it's unjust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to leave us with no guide. Here comes to the importance of believing in the imamah. If you see now, it's like a chain. And the evidence for that, we have the famous the dua, Allahumma arifni nafsak, فإنك إن لم تعرفني نفسك لم أعرف رسولك. Oh Allah, guide me to know you. Because if you don't guide me to know you, I won't know your Prophet. Oh Allah, guide me to know your Prophet. Because if I don't know your Prophet, I'm not going to know his successor. Oh Allah, guide me to know his successor. Because if you don't guide me to know his successor, I'm going to be deviated. So it's like a chain. It's like a chain. If you don't believe in imamah, truly believe in imamah, in leadership, it means that you don't believe in the Prophet. It means if you don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they're like a chain. Once you take off one chain, the whole thing is gone. The whole thing is gone. So when we know that the leadership is an extension of prophethood, our role towards imamah and leadership is the same to our role towards the Prophet or the prophethood. Especially in these times. Our role to prophethood is to defend him. Apart from appreciating his sacrifice, is to defend him against the people who's trying to show a bad image of him. Other schools of thought that showed the people and the other religions a bad image of the Prophet. When they said that the Prophet, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, he drinks wine, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Or like he likes the women dances, or astaghfirullah. So we have to, our role, we have to defend his image. We have to show the real image of the Prophet. The same way towards the Imam and the Imams. Like when they say in Safar, every year in Safar, they start to talk about Imam Hassan, that he used to divorce a lot, and that he accepted a peace treaty with a tyrant. Even the faithful, the people, his companions at that time, they told him that, Assalamu alayka ya mudhilla al-mu'mineen, or humiliator of the faithful people, of the faithful ones. Our role is to defend, to know, to read, to seek knowledge and know, in order just to be a true believers in this. We have to defend Imam Rida alayhi salam when they accused him of accepting being the heir to the throne at that time, and they don't read that he was forced. We have to defend Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I heard it actually in this Muharram from one of the scholars. He said that we don't, like, the event of Ashura is only an event in history. We don't have to, we only like take lessons and that's it. We only cry for Imam Hussein just because of narrations. Just because Imam Rida told us, Man baka wa abka wa tabaka falahu al-jannah. Or like, if you cry, or like make people cry, you will get paradise. We only cry for him. That's what he said. But Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that إن لقتل الحسين حرارة في قلوب المؤمنين لن تبرد أبدا. That for killing of Imam Hussein, there is a hate in the hearts of the faithful people and the faithful ones, in the hearts of the true believers, that won't cool down. There should be an emotional relation with the Imam. We have to know, to appreciate the sacrifice that he gave for religion, that he gave his family and his kids in order to save us from fire of hell. And now in this month, Rabi' al-Thani, comes the tragedy of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Now, as I said, our role towards the Imam is to defend the Imam. Inshallah, I will end my lecture with this idea. We are sinners. We are normal people. We always commit sins. And we know now that our role towards the Imam is to defend him. And like now, if I have a daughter, for example, I would sacrifice her for the Imam of my time, Imam al-Hujjah Ajallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. And she won't mind if she's a true believer and she is well raised. She won't refuse. She would sacrifice herself for him. She will stand up in front of a sword if it's coming to the Imam. And we are sinners. But Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra, she was flawless. She was ma'sooma. And she knew that Imam Ali is the holder of the message after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And she didn't go to open the door. She tried to stop them because she assumed that if she talks, they will remember what the Prophet told them. Every time he sits with them, he tells them, Babu Fatima Babi, the door of Fatima is my door. And her hijab is my hijab. Fatima is a piece of me. Whoever hurts her is hurting me. And whoever hurts me, hurts Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So she considered that if they knew that she's in the house, they won't even attack the house. They would go back. But they weren't true believers. They were like only Muslims by name. And yet they attacked the house. People in this month, they start to fight against, or like try to delete this event from history, or try to make it lower the level of this tragedy. But we have to show the reality, what happened, what really happened. We have to defend. So Sayyidah Zahra, she was defending her Imam. She has an option. She had an option, and she had a chance, and she took it. And now our role towards Imam al-Hujjah Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, the Imam of our time, our role is to defend ourselves against sins. Because we know that our dates are being offered to him every Thursday night. He's saying our dates. We have to make sure that when he looks, our dates are gonna draw a smile on his face, are gonna hasten his reappearance. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who fulfill the role towards our beliefs, towards the pillars of the religion. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of Imam al-Hujjah Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. We ask Allah to cure the ill. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يعجل فرج صاحب العصر والزمان ويقضي حوائجه ويجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والذابين عنه ولقضاء الحوائج ولشفاء المرضى ولتعجيل الفرج ولأرواح أموات المؤمنين والمؤمنات. نهدي الجميع ثواب ما قرأنا وثواب السورة المباركة الفاتحة مسبوقة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.